Hello and welcome to the Confident Chicks conversation. And I'm so happy to be here today and that all of you all are tuned in to listen. And today we have a very special guest. Her name is Miss Latasha Carter, and she is a podcast host just like me, and it is called TOT Podcast. And Miss Latasha, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Right. Well, actually, I go by Tot Carter, and the podcast is called Talking with Tot. I am a entrepreneur and mother, and I like to inspire people. So that's pretty much what I do. Is that I like to bring stories that encourage others to be their very best self, and so my channel is all about empowerment to others, just so that they understand that no matter what cards you are dealt in life, that you can overcome them. So those are the stories that I like to share.
All right. And so, where did your passion for inspiring people come from?
I guess it's because it's just something that I do. I'm pretty much an empath. And so I'm always wanting to help someone. It's just in my nature. I have some loving parents. So I just like to share, love, ideals, things like that. So I'm just loving.
Sounds like that's just the environment that you was raised in, environment of love, inspiration, and things of that nature.
Absolutely.
So, tell us a little bit about your career path.
So my career path is that I was in banking for many years, and then I got to a point where I lost my job. So I decided to reinvent myself. So at that particular time, I went back to college and I got a degree in management and I did knocked off a couple other things that I wanted to do. My, um, just some things that I had wanted to do over the years. I started to get those into play, but pretty much that's pretty much how I got my start in terms of just being at a place where I just felt like, okay, now what am I gonna
So basically, you had to pivot.
do? Absolutely, I did. I did.
It also says you're a mental health advocate. What does that mean to you?
Well, with the mental health is that there are so many people that are suffering from mental illness. And I think a lot of people don't understand that mental illness is not like you're crazy. I think people oftentimes think that you got to be crazy. It's not that. Mental illness come in all forms, whether it's depression, um, ADHD, things like that. And I don't think that people understand that. So I took a class to better understand it myself. I had a cousin 2 years ago killed himself due to suicide. And so I just, from that beginning, well, when that happened, it just kind of made me begin to look into mental health and just to understand a lot of things. I wanted to understand, what that stems from and things like that. So I took a little journey there to explore mental illness and things like that. So that's all.
Looking back at it, did you have any idea the depression or anything that your cousin was going through at that time?
You said, was I aware of it?
Yeah, I mean, did you know did it catch you off guard or something?
Well, actually, it did catch me off guard because I wasn't really aware that he was suffering in that way, only because we wasn't really talking at the time. So it was just one of my cousins where I wouldn't necessarily see him all the time, but when I did, he's always the life of the party. So
Mm.
I just wasn't aware. So when it did happen, it shook our entire family because I just I wasn't aware, but some of the other family members that was closer to him, they were aware of that he was struggling in some areas, but I wasn't. So that was just something that just kind of became near and dear to me, so that I started to look at that, and then just kind of talking with my friends and family and things of that such. I will come across a lot of people that will lean on me for certain things, and then I'm understanding that every day people go through things, and it just kind of let me understood that you don't know what people are going through, no matter how they look outside. They
Right.
may be smiling, but you just never know. So I try to have those conversations to make sure that I'm always being a light and a listening ear. So I'm, sensitive to people who are struggling in that area.
How important do you think it is to have a tribe that you can go to?
Oh, you must have a tribe. You also have to have a team. So with me, my parents are still living, married. My dad is about to turn 81 in a couple of days, and my mom is 75. And I'm so thankful that I have them, in my life still, and they're, able to do things still on their own and things like that. They're starting to need a little bit of assistance. Just I run a little more errands now, but you definitely have to have that, and I have a good support system, and then also I have a good friend base. I have some
Hmm.
amazing friends. I mean, people
Right.
who just love me, pour into me, and I'm thankful for that, because when I look at my life, and sometimes when I'm whining about certain things that I want in my life that's not really showing up right now, then I have to look around and see what's all going right in my life. And
Right.
those are the things that are going right in my life. I have amazing friends. I'm in good health, and I'm happy.
And that's what gratitude is based on, just being able to look back. You might not have everything that you want, but if you just look back at some of the things that you've been through, or some things that you experienced in some trauma, you probably never thought that you would get through those things. But when you can look back 5 years and say, wow, I overcame that, I actually came out of that.
Right. Absolutely. And I think everything that we go through, there's always a reason to it. And so that's
Mhm.
one of the things that I started to do back in 2021, is start to look within myself and do some self discovery. And as I started to look at how I was moving in the world, and, things that hurt me, or that I didn't like, I learned more about myself. And so I also push that to other people, as I tell them to, if you don't know what you want to do in life, or if you feel stuck, or if you feel sad, you know, do some self discovery, figure out what it is that you like, you know, read books. Um,
Yeah.
it's kind of like you have to develop yourself. And so I just feel like, you should always be moving forward and
Right.
try to never become complacent. Meet new people. Even with the podcast, it has been I have met some amazing people all over the world, and people who are aspiring, others, as I do myself. And it's just really nice when I'm meeting people, because you'll just meet some people that you're like, oh my God, you're so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
and, and so I'm always happy when I run across those other individuals that's showing, themselves in a light, and that's vibrating high, is what I like to say.
Yeah, it's definitely because I know I came across some great relationships just in the past 2 weeks, just by this podcast. So it is definitely nice to meet people and to relate to people, have different conversations about different things.
Absolutely.
And so tell us what you're doing now.
So right now I am in my second season of my podcast, and I am taking a digital marketing class, so that I want to learn how to market my podcast better. So some of the things is like, when you start a podcast, I love to help other people get started, but anything that you go to do, you're going to have to get some training. Because I feel like you can only go so far with your personality and what you're doing.
Right.
You have to take classes, you have to perfect your craft, and so one of the things that I'm doing is that I am going to find more things on how to give an interview, how to do more of storytelling,
Right.
because I know for myself, I have very good people on, and I have very good content, but I can look at some of my episodes where I didn't tell the story didn't come out good. So sometimes you'll be in an interview with somebody and you will know their background, the backstory, but they'll get in front of the camera and they won't let it out. And that's when I want to cringe. Like, are you kidding me? Like, everybody know, won't you? Not that I want to exploit anybody, but I just want them to tell the story that they already tell, so that my audience can see that, and hear it and be inspired from it. But then I had to understand that depending on how the person is feeling that day and where they are in their mental, sometimes, the story is there, but they're not feeling up to it.
Right.
So, you have to give people grace with that also. But that's one of the things that I'm working on, is like storytelling, because that's what keeps people's interest. You want to come out well, So yeah.
So how long has your podcast been on, and what are the things that you learned since you've been doing your podcast?
So I started out with a couple of coworkers in January on another podcast, but then I went solo on my own in June.
Oh, okay.
Of this year, and I actually quite did much better by myself, because when I first started it, I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and I know how I wanted to do it, but I didn't follow it out in terms of, I wanted one person and I ended up with two, and so it became a trio. And with the trio, our dynamics got a little bit off with the added person, so we had to go in different ways. And so when I look back at it, I should have stayed true to what I wanted in the beginning, because I didn't want it to be three people. I only wanted, it was two, it was a girl and a guy, and I only wanted the guy, but I didn't want to leave out the girl. And that is the very thing that I should have done, because that was the very thing that broke down the podcast. So hindsight, I should have went with what I had in my head, because that would have worked out perfect. And just the whole dynamics of how it went, it worked out perfect. So
Yeah, it definitely, because sometimes you have a plan and then it's like all these people say, oh, and then you don't want to tell that person no.
right, and that's what it was. I didn't want to leave her out, but she wasn't. Well, she wasn't as entertaining as he is, and so it made the conversation kind of go in a direction that I didn't want to go, and it all worked well with us all three together. But once we branched off, you can see where the views went down. And then when I started my own, I hit the ground running by myself. So it was just kind of like something that I pivoted into. And I knew that it was, it was good, because I gained a mass amount of subscribers really fast. And that's because I was hustling by myself. And I went in, like, I want to say I got like to 307 subscribers within about 2.5 months.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah, whereas my other channel, we were only sitting on, after 8 months, we were only sitting on 45 subscribers.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So I learned some things to do. And I started to teach it to other people that I came in contact. Whenever I see that your subscribers are, less than 100, then I'm asking them some key things that they need to do in order to get it up there. But with subscribers, it's a constant fight. You have to always continue to promote yourself. As I tell people, never let anybody talk to you or get within your space and you don't tell them about your podcast and get them signed up.
Right.
But in that also too is what I've learned, is that you'll have people sign on to your channel, but they're not watching.
Right.
So now I'm trying to figure out how to organically get people to follow me, because that way I just got people sitting there, but it's not helping me any. So I need those numbers. I need those comments, those likes. No matter how good the content is, if the people that you have signed up to your channel is not watching, it's not helping you. It's just, it looks good sitting there for a number, but it's not helping me in my metrics. So
right, it's not helping you get your message out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that is one of the things that I decided to put into play is to do more interviews um, toward the end of this year, going into next year. So that's what I'm doing now is interviewing, being a person that is being interviewed and doing some more networking, which that's something that I love to do is network.
Right. That's awesome. And so, what are some? I know you like empowering, helping people. What are some other things that you'd like to talk about?
So, one of the other things that I do like to talk about is that I am all about family, and I actually do ancestry. And so I love talking about your, how you can go find your ancestors and things like that. So that's like a passion of mine that I've been doing for a couple of years now. And I am in a couple of little groups where we talk about how you find people, from searches and things like that. So in my downtime, I'll be up 3 o'clock in the morning looking at my great great grandfather that came from South Carolina, trying to find his mom. And well, actually, I found his mom, but I'm trying to find his dad. And I think I found his dad as a slave. And
Wow.
so, yeah, and that's always exciting to me. So as I slow down in other things that I do, I want to join one of those societies as well, where I am, with other people who like to do what I do, which is ancestry. So,
Yeah. That's definitely like a unique thing that you like to do is to find family. So it sounds like family is very important to you, right?
absolutely. I'm actually the family reunion planner as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I started that years ago and pretty proud of myself because I was on the family reunion board back when I was in my 20s. And then years later, we didn't have a family reunion anymore. And I was able to come back, I think, after like 13 years and get it started again and have a good turnout. So everybody looks for me to put on reunions, which I am getting ready to have another one next year that I'm in the midst of planning that. With everything that goes on today and, family getting elderly and things like that, I try to make sure that we're all gathering on a good occasion, to spend time. So that's one thing. And it's kind of like I'm the local family celebrity because everybody want to say that they know me. When it comes to the reunion, it's like I am just, they'll be like, do you know her? Do you have her number? And I'm just like, y'all, it's just me. But yeah,
What
so
would you say to people who didn't come from like that sense of family, who want to try, want a family, want a community, but they have reservations or shy or have different experiences that they don't know how to embrace community.
well, I would just say be yourself. You know, I always try to be myself, but you also have to read your room. I wouldn't advise someone if they're not really comfortable with socializing and things like that. So I wouldn't want them to just put themselves out there. But I would tell them to start small, and just kind of learn family that way and go with your gut, in terms of when you're interacting with people because family can be challenging sometimes,
Yeah.
so I may make it seem glorious, but when I'm actually putting on the production of my family reunion, it's a lot of behind the scene things that goes on with the finances, with getting people to participate and getting people to actually pay. So it's a business too. you know
Yeah,
i have to
definitely.
treat it like I have to treat it like a business because I'll get there and someone want to come in and have not paid and they got 4 or 5 people with them, which is not fair because what
Right.
it does is that you don't I have already allowed for so much food, which I always have enough. But still, those little bit of things like that can make you not want to do it the next year. So you have to know that when you're going into something like that, that you're going to get, even though they're family, you're going to get all of these opinions, personalities, and things about stuff. But you just got to make sure that you do it because it's something that you love to do. Because other than that, you wouldn't want to do it anymore. So.
Right. I definitely remember when I was a little girl, every year we would go to the country and have a family reunion. It's been like so many years since I've been to a family reunion, but I do remember my dad, he would take me, my sister, and my mom, and my brother, we would all pack up in the van and
Yeah.
travel about 1 or 2 hours to the country.
Yes.
Every year is a different T-shirt.
Right. Oh, absolutely. T-shirt help make sales. One of
Yeah.
the that I yeah, that for me, my T-shirt helped fund the food because it's not like I make any profit or anything. I think people think that I make profit, but it's like you're eating ribs, you're eating chicken, you're eating all this stuff. How you think I pay for this T-shirt
Right.
money? Yeah,
Exactly.
because I don't charge that much. On the some people charge a lot per family. I usually keep mine low, about $25 per person. So I mean,
Yeah.
you blow that if you go out to eat. So
Yeah. And then it's just an opportunity to see new faces, family members, people got married, had new kids, and things like that. And it's
right,
just, just bring that community and just know that we're more alike than we are different.
absolutely. Yep. So I love family.
And so tell us, if you had one last thing that you would like to say to sum up who you are and your message that you bring to people, what would that be?
Well, I would say that I'm a person who love God, so I put God first. So I always tell people I'm very big about finding your purpose in life. That's
Mhm.
one of the things that I'm going to do is write a mini book because I feel that when a person finds their purpose in life, it's just so awesome to operate in your purpose. So I told people if you don't know what it is that you on this planet for, go into self-discovery so that you can figure out because you don't find your purpose, you discover your purpose.
Right.
And so once you go into self-discovery of yourself, usually you're going to find that your purpose is in something that you do every day without even knowing it. And that's how I found my purpose because I wanted to know. And so when I took inventory of what I do every day, and it was, I always talk to other people about God and I always share my faith with them, but I'm an encourager, you know, and I also like to connect people. So those are the things that I do. And I'll have people that'll say to me, they'll say, I don't know how you know that I needed to hear, something kind or whatever it is that day when I will go over. So that what gives me the most, I guess, happiness when I know that I have helped someone else on their journey or made somebody else's day. And so, yeah, so that's what I do.
Yeah, and likewise. I that's probably the second book I wrote, How to Find Your Purpose and Monetize Your Passion. So I definitely agree.
Hmm.
That finding your purpose and then walking in your purpose is so important, just like the air that you breathe. So I do applaud you for that.
Hmm.
And so, where can we find you on social media? Where are you?
All right. So you can find me on Facebook and TikTok as Tot Carter. And then on Insta and also on YouTube, you can find me as Talking with Todd. And on Instagram also as Talking with Todd. And then with my personal Instagram, you can find me as Ivy Tot 10.
Okay, and where can we listen to your episodes at?
So right now I'm on YouTube and Spotify. So you can just type in Talking with Todd and I will pop up.
All right. Yeah. So we definitely gotta listen to some of your episodes. It sounds so amazing. I really love meeting different people who are all about confidence and purpose and not scared to share their belief in their faith. So I do
Oh,
applaud you for that.
absolutely.
So it has been a definitely great conversation and thank you so much for coming on to the confidential conversation.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're welcome and I will talk to y'all next time. Bye bye.